All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer. This time between Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Brooklyn, New York. And this is their Squares versus Triangles. So they're calling this one a Simcoe HBC 586. Ekuanot and Sabro-hopped Double IPA comes in at 8.25% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just under 1 month old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher for this beer. So big thanks to them. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with. And when I saw this beer, I was really excited. Why? Hop Butcher and Other Half are two of my favorite hazy IPA producers, so to be able to try another collaboration from them is awesome. Last year in 2022, I reviewed their hashtag No Ketchup, which was a collab between these two breweries, and it was brewed by Other Half. Such a different and unique hazy, kind of like, I think it was a double IPA, but it was absolutely delicious. So when I saw them join forces for this one, I was hoping they would send me a can. They sent a couple, and I can't thank them enough. So this is the age-old debate, not really, but squares versus triangles. You know, you got the triangles, which is the New York style pizza, and the squares, which is the Chicago style tavern cut pizza. The winner by default for me would be New York style, because I've never had authentic Chicago style tavern cut pizza, but I'm sure it's quite tasty. So it's a cool theme, awesome artwork as usual. Dan Jess killing it. And yeah, anyway, let's get this one into the glass. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't look at the tasting notes, but right when I showed you the can, my eyes locked with something that said juicy mango. So I know one of the three tasting notes, and I try not to look when I review them and go in blind, but I'm not going to bullshit you there and lie. I locked right in and said juicy mango. I didn't see the other two, but definitely juicy mango. So we'll see if they have juicy mango in here. I prefer not to see the tasting notes, because then I could just go off on my own palate, but now that's probably going to influence me to some degree. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and be like, I totally didn't see it, despite the fact I was looking right at it, you know? Anyway, I'm going to throw it over here because the label's awesome. Yeah, it's the Hop Butcher old school, Other Half kind of juice look. It has that deep honey orange color, murky turbid, about a 2.5 finger, almost 3 finger of a super fluffy off-white looking head, really creamy looking. Hold it up to the light, and in that glass, it looks beautiful. Anyway, let's get a nose. Why am I whispering? ASMR. Yeah, juicy mango, they nailed it. Yeah, it's really juicy mango. It's sweet over ripe mango, but there's also a ton of peach and pineapple. Oh, it smells like all the stone and tropical fruits you ever wanted. Yeah, there's mango, there's peach, there's pineapple, maybe even a bit of like a kiwi or something like that. Underlying, I'm going to say, I was going to just say generic citrus, and I don't want to say that, but like clementine, cuties, tangerines, maybe tangelos, in that realm. It's more to the orange tangerine side of the citrus notes. Yeah, I just went back for a whiff, and it's like freshly squeezed orange juice. There's a dank herbaceousness here, almost like a little bit of like an onion garlicky thing. And I don't get that a lot with Hop Butcher beers, but I'm getting that here. It definitely has like this nice dank herbaceous, I'd say more of like a like scallion, you know? It's sweet, but it's not overly so. Oh yeah. I just want to sit here and it's orange juice mixed with like a fruit cup of like mango, peach, and pineapple. You got that dank kind of herbaceous scallion green onion thing going on. It just smells awesome. Yeah, anyway, let's get to it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Hop Butcher. This is fucking delicious. First sip, I can tell you right off the rip, this is delicious. Especially if you're a fan of sweet, juicy, tropical and stone fruit, but then on the back of the palate, that dank herbaceous, again, like green onion, scallion kind of bitterness. Like, it just works so beautifully. And I know, I'm sure there's folks that will come to even this review, and I've had folks in older reviews be like, you're getting, you know, onion and garlic and like a hop forward beer. That sounds disgusting. It does. Like, the first time I heard somebody say that, they were drinking a beer with Summit hops. And I was like, that's just, why would you want like onion and garlic in your beer? That just sounds fucking disgusting. Like, no, I don't want that. But it's hard to explain unless you experience it. But it just has this nice like herbaceous, herbal kind of green feeling to it. And to me, it just, right now, it's like a green onion, a scallion, something in that realm. And it works beautifully with everything else going on. So I don't know. It's hard to explain if you've never had experienced it before, but once you do, I think you would kind of understand what I'm saying. Body on this one, a lot of their bodies have been bigger. This is right in that realm. This is like higher side of medium, lower side of full. 8.25%, beautiful for what it is. Not too much, not too little, kind of right in the wheelhouse of what I'm looking for. The mouthfeel, maybe not the best I've had from them, and certainly Other Half with their Dream series when they use a little bit of lactose and a shit ton of oats. Their Dream and Daydream series are just fantastic with the mouthfeels. Hop Butcher does great with the mouthfeels. So I'm thinking the mouthfeel is going to be like top notch, next level. It's not quite that. I think it has a little bit more carbonation than a lot of times you get from their beers. But it is smooth. It is creamy. It's not necessarily soft, but it's still really fucking good. So body mouthfeel are fantastic. Just not the best I've ever had. The taste, the nose carried over almost to a T. Right up front, they said juicy mango. I'm going to say like over-ripened or ripened mango, sweeter mango. There's juicy peach and pineapple, sweet, like crushed pineapple. And then underneath, there's this orange juice vibe I'm getting. I'm just straight up orange juice. Like it's not tangerine, it's not grapefruit, it's just straight OJ. And it's beautiful. As it passes on through the palate, midway through, I actually get hit with a little bit of the malt. Like there's a little bit of like this crackery, slightly bready, almost doughy malt sensation. Maybe a touch of like a bubblegum yeast. Yeah, like a yeast ester that's bubblegum-esque. Very slight though. I can notice it midway through the palate. It's like juicy fruit, right? But it like dips in and out real quickly. Then on the second half of the palate, on the finish, it's that dank herbaceous green onion scallion. It has a moderate bitterness with a full-on dry kind of feeling. So while this does have a lot of sweet notes at the front, and you might be worried, and I was worried when I first took the sip that it might be too sweet, but when I said it was fucking delicious, it is because everything balanced out on the finish, and all that great fruit character I got at the front of the palate is just balanced out so nicely by the finish. And it's 8.25%. You can't tell on the palate. A little bit of warming in the chest, not much though. As you can see, I'm drinking this quite easily too. It's a fucking really good beer from them. Yeah, I'm going to pour the rest in here and just formulate, I guess, a rating. Am I surprised this is delicious? Oh, there's all the goodies. Even though I can't keep this upside down, there's so much gunk at the bottom. Let's go one more sip. But I'm not surprised this is delicious, but at the same time, we've talked about it before on my channel. Other beer tubers have talked about it. I'm sure probably you and your friends have maybe even mentioned it to one another when you get together, hopefully for bottle shares and hanging out and whatnot. But collabs have a tendency, more often than not, to not work all that well. But recently, I'd say in the past 4 to 6 months, I've had a lot of great collaboration beers. Maybe they've turned the corner in collabs. I know with collabs, a lot of times, the brewery who's not brewing the beer, it's just like, hey, let's do this recipe. And sometimes they fly in and they go to dinner or whatever, and maybe they just, it's not like they're collabing like all the time. It's a lot of times just, hey, let's put our name on the can and we'll say it's a collab between us two and we'll hang out, have a good time, right? But like a beer like this is a great collab to me. Is it as good as the hashtag no ketchup? I don't remember when I gave that beer. I should have looked at the review. But it's up there. I think I gave that beer in the 4 or 5 realm, and this is going to get very similar scores. So squares versus triangles from Hop Butcher and Other Half. Like, this is delicious. I love it. It's great. So I'm going to give this a high 4.5 out of 5 and go 4.6. I think that's where it lands at. I can't give it into the low 4.7s. And the reason why I can't give this beer a low 4.7, and the honest to God's truth, is I think the mouthfeel had to be that next level mouthfeel I get from Hop Butcher and Other Half. And don't take that the wrong way. Like, I don't think this is a bad mouthfeel. It's actually really good. I think I may have called it awesome, or maybe even phenomenal, or just amazing. But it's not that top tier Hop Butcher mouthfeel that I want out of it to get into the 4.75 range. But a 4.6 out of 5 is a fucking fantastic score. Almost forgot tasting notes, even though I looked right at Juicy Mango. So, Juicy Mango. Yeah. What if I said Juicy Mango without that in my head? I may have turned around and said like peach, pineapple, and mango instead of saying mango from the get-go, but there's definitely Juicy Mango in here. There's, like I said, more it's over-ripened or ripened sweeter mango, so I'm fine with that. Pleasant dank. Pleasant dank for me is that scallion, that green onion, Yeah, that's for sure. And then red clementine. I did say clementine in the nose. On the palate, though, it's more just straight orange, like just straight orange. Wouldn't say necessarily clementine. I'd say straight orange. So yeah, they did a great job with the tasting notes. Price point availability. I don't actually know what this one. General rule of thumb, Ross and other folks in Chicago have told me these are typically 15 or 16 bucks a 4-pack, right? But those are usually for the 7.5% ones, and I think it's like the regular IPAs, like the 6.5%. Once you start dipping in, I think to like the 6% and less, like pale ales and IPAs they do, and then also like getting into the triple IPA realms, which is the 10% from them, or 10.5, they start fluctuating price point. This is 8.25, so I don't know what you're paying for it in Chicago, so anybody out there, Ross, anybody else, let me know what you paid for a 4-pack of this in the Chicagoland. Typically, these are around 16 bucks a 4-pack. Might be a little bit more expensive, maybe 17 or 18. If you see any of this in distro, you're probably talking like $22 to $24 a 4-pack. We get a lot of Hop Butcher stuff now here in Buffalo, New York, about once a month. And more often than not, if you see one of their double IPAs, they're like $20 to $24 depending on where you go. Typically 21 or 22 the places I go. So they're going to bump them up because they're making distro. Everybody has to make money. The distributors, the bottle shop, everything. I get it. But in Chicago, if these are $16 a 4-pack, this is a fucking great deal. And buy all of it, please. And availability is Hop Butcher. They're getting their name out there. They're showing up here, like I said, in Buffalo, a lot of other cities across America. They're over in Europe. If you want them, do a Google search. You'll find some online stores that you can buy them from, or just go to Chicago and just get all the Hop Butcher you ever wanted. Anyway, huge thanks to Hop Butcher for this beer. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. Like I said, if you've had it, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this one. Also, if you had the hashtag no ketchup and this, which one do you prefer? I think I might like this one more than the hashtag no ketchup, but it's very small. Like it's a very minute difference in this beer and that in terms of how I like it. Completely different beers, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying in terms of like the quality and how much and how I rate them, I think this wins out slightly, but that's just my own opinion. Anyway, 8.25%, like I said, a little bit warm in the chest on the palate. Just, it goes down like a dream, and I'm going to go hammer out the rest of this because this is delicious. Cheers.